No one is happier to have Dak Prescott performing and winning than Tony Romo, because he can see that this is going to give him an opportunity to be on a Cowboy team that's got a chance to do it. It's a miracle problem to have in my mind. We've got a great situation here. I just have to pinch myself to think about it. We've got Dak Prescott, who's playing at a level that is very capable of winning these games. We've got the future. Every time he walks out there, we've got the optimism of the future. It's inspiring. It's inspiring this team. And then we have, in my mind, one of the very top quarterbacks in the league as well.
A miracle problem. Skip, do you buy it?
Shannon Sharpe.
Yes, Skip, do you buy it?
There are two things operating here. There is what I would do if I were running the Cowboys and what I believe Jerry Jones will do because he does run the Cowboys. I have told you for the last 3 weeks, I went back 3 weeks ago and I said, if Dak Prescott wins out before the bye, if he finishes it off by going up and beating Aaron Rodgers head-to-head in Green Bay, it's his team, in my view, for the rest of the year. I'm saying, sorry, Tony, you can heal up all you need to heal up because it's Dak's team from here on out, and I'm riding with Dak. That's just me. There's no way I believe Jerry Jones will do that. I believe Jerry will go back to Tony Romo when he's healthy. Now, again, there are varying reports about this. I'm not sure when Tony's going to be healthy. It could be for the Philly game after the bye at Jerry World, or it could be the following week at Cleveland.
Or the following week.
Or the following week. You could make that case. But now back to the question about Tony Romo. Does Tony Romo believe it's going to be his job? Absolutely, 1,000%. He believes it, so he is rooting for Dak still with heart and soul, because he wants a winning team to be handed to him. You know, he wants a team that'd be 5-1 or 6-1 when he finally does come back. And the reason I believe Tony is so confident right now is he is so contractually protected. He's looking at his deal. Jerry gave him a monster deal. It was 6 years, $108 million with $55 million guaranteed dollars. So for the cap hits over the next 3 years for Tony Romo's deal, $24.7 million, $25.2, $23.7. Jerry Jones is effectively stuck with Tony Romo. And I also remind you, Jerry Jones loves him some Tony Romo. And Jerry feels a loyalty to Tony because of what Tony has done for him lately. I'm going to remind you, just for the numbers. Again, I'd go with Dak if he wins Sunday, just so we get this straight. But Tony Romo is 15-4 in his last 19 starts. That's Brady-esque. 15-4, as you well know, 2014, Tony Romo led the NFL in my favorite stat, QBR. That's pretty great. And in that year, he completed 70% of his passes. He had 34 touchdown passes to only 9 picks. That's pretty great. So, again, Dak through 5 games has 4 touchdown passes to no interceptions. So he's not nearly as explosive as Tony Romo can be. And I promise you, Jerry's sitting back saying it's a miracle problem because he says, I don't care what Dak does. If he gets us to 5-1 or even 6-1, I'm throwing Tony back in there because we can be even more, this is what Jerry would think, even more explosive with Tony Romo. Jerry also knows that history is not on Tony's side as far as injuries. I mean, I keep saying, will Tony last 2 plays or 4 plays or 7 plays before he gets hurt again? You want to talk about brittle? You want to talk about a broken body? Everything's wrong with Tony's body at age 36. He's like 46. So the point is, Jerry would probably just say, let's throw Tony back into the fire. And if he lasts a game, that's great. If he lasts 7 games, that's great. But if he doesn't last 2 plays, I'll just put Dak back in, and we won't miss a beat, and we'll go right on, keep it on. So that's just how Jerry's thinking about it. I wouldn't do it, but I promise you, Tony Romo is losing no sleep over this, mostly because of that big contract.
We didn't. The question was not asked, what would Skip Bayless do if he was the owner? The question wasn't asked, what Jerry thinks of Tony Romo. The question wasn't asked because he's contractually obligated and the big cap hits.
It's just about Tony Romo.
Is Romo happy about Dak's success?
Yes.
Jerry Jones is 73 years old. He's old enough to be my father. My grandmother always told me, she said, boy, you never call someone a lie that's older than you are. Jerry Jones is misspeaking the truth. starting quarterbacks are normally.
Wait, so you are calling?
I said he's Skip.
Okay. I just want to get that straight.
I said he's misspeaking the truth.
All right.
There's a difference.
Misspeaking the truth.
It's a pillow. I could have slammed him to the floor, or I could have laid him on the pillow. I laid him on the pillow.
Okay.
Okay. This is what we know how starting quarterbacks in history has gone. Brett Favre, name the quarterbacks he was friendly with. Ty Detmer, Doug Peterson, Mark Brunell, Matt Hasselbeck. What about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, they're best buddies now.
Oh, you see how that worked? Okay, Steve Young. Was Steve Young and Joe really cool? He was cool with all the quarterbacks that backed him up until he thought there was one that could actually replace him.
Yep.
Tony Romo, when he always got injured, he always knew, because guess what? It was retreads, rejects, journeyman quarterbacks that were filling in for him. You mentioned something very interesting. You said Tony Romo in his last 19 games were 15-4. Is that in one season or over a 2-year span?
It's over a year and a quarter.
So they're playing. So there's 16 games one year and 16 games the other year. So what does that tell you? He's 15-4. That's 19 games. What about the other 32 games? So what happened?
He got hurt twice last year.
Oh, okay,
That's what I
okay,
just
okay.
said.
So now, so this is the first time that actually Tony Romo is looking up, and they're winning games without Tony Romo. You see, in the beginning, I'm sure he was. He's like, look, let's just keep us afloat. Hey, let me come in there and I'm gonna be good. It's like a basketball player. You're in foul trouble. You got to go sit to the bench, and you say, hey, let's just keep it close till he comes back. Guess what happens, Skip? He's not keeping it close. They're full speed ahead. So the longer this goes on and he's winning, the more uncomfortable Tony Romo gets. Now, Skip, I'm not gonna even argue with you. Everybody knows it's Tony Romo Jones. That's his third or fourth son. I don't know how many kids he got, but Tony Romo Jones is his son. He's the son that he always wanted. Jerry was an athlete.
Well, he's got some sons.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but you know, Jerry was an athlete, played at the University of Arkansas, won a national championship.
He starting guard on a national championship.
And Steven, he loves Steven. But Tony Romo is more like Jerry, because, you know, Jerry was an athlete, Skip, you know, national championship. So, Skip, that he's being disingenuous. There's no way. There's no way, absolutely no. I've been around quarterbacks. He's not happy. He was happy at first, but now the longer this goes, the less value he has. Because you say that Tony Romo gives them an opportunity for big plays for both teams. His team, and he'll turn the football over and help the other team. So that's a fact. So I don't believe Jerry. Jerry can say what he wants, but as a player and having been around quarterbacks, and no. That's not true. Jerry is misspeaking the truth.
Well, you were speaking out of both sides of your mouth, because you can't call him Tony Romo Jones and then tell me that he's in any jeopardy of losing his job. I just told you Jerry loves him some Tony.
Yes.
So Tony knows this. He's taking it literally to the bank.
The question was Romo happy about Dak's success? It wasn't about him losing his job.
He's ecstatic about it. Because he's going to get handed maybe who knows, 5-0. I'm jumping ahead, because it's going to be hard to win this game at Green Bay. And by the way, what have you done for me lately? Just if they go stinking up at Green Bay, then by Monday we'll be saying, "Where's Tony Romo?" Right? Hurry back, Tony.
But what we have now, Skip, for the very first time, let's just say they hand the job back over to Tony Romo, and he loses a game. This is the first time that he would have been in a position that he's coming in. Because normally when he comes back, what happened? They're already losing. They've lost 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Now he's getting a situation where they're 5-1, possibly 6-1. So now they lose. Now all of a sudden, Tony Romo isn't the savior. See, everybody has since he's been there and he's been injured, these journeyman and reject quarterbacks have replaced him. Tony Romo has always been looked at as the savior. Now, Tony Romo isn't the savior anymore. How can he do better than 6-1? How can he do better than 7-1? So that's what he's playing with now, because
he's got a recent track record where he could argue with you, I'll show you how I can do better, because I'm more explosive. I can make more plays than Dak. You've been hard on Dak. You say he's dink and dunk, Dak and dunk. That's what Colin said yesterday.
All that being true, but the one thing he has not done is put his team in harm's way.
And by the way, The new Romo that I fell back in love, I was hard on Tony Romo for a bunch of years on my old show. But in 2014, he showed me, as he had his, what's he got now, 2 kids. He became a dad. He sort of grew up.
Got married,
He turned his hat around. He always wore his cap backward. He turned around frontward like, okay, now I'm a man. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And in 2014, he cleaned up his act. He didn't throw the ball to the other team. And when he came back last year early on, remember, he beat Eli with a clutch finish in the opener. I'm going back last year. And then he went to Philadelphia, and they just blew the Eagles off their home field before he got hurt. And then he rushed back to try to play on Thanksgiving. Well, he played first in Miami, but he was still half hurt. And he played really well at Miami, and then he threw the ball to the Carolina Panthers on that Thanksgiving game at Jerry.
And got hurt.
Okay, and he got hurt again.
So I love, this is one thing I love about you, Skip. When you got an argument and a point, you go back to the same year, 2014. So did 2013 not happen? Did 2015 not happen?
He grew up. He won me back over. It was really good. He was the best quarterback in football. He should have been the MVP that year. And you know how much I love Tom Brady. But he had a better year than Tom Brady had in 2014.
So the 4 games in 2015 when he had 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, are we supposed to wipe that away?
But he was really good against Eli, really good at Philly, and he was pretty good at Miami. Skip. He went 3-1 in those games, by the way.
Skip.
15-4.
Skip.
I mean, let's not just throw it out.
But in 32 games in a 2-year season.
Okay.
He was injured. Okay, what about the 5 touchdowns and the 7 interceptions that he threw in the 4 games that he played in last year?
Okay.
Did that not happen?
All I know is, let's get back to Jenny's question. Is he happy? Is Tony? He's ecstatic. I promise you. He knows he's going to get his job back. Now, is there going to be a whole lot more pressure on Tony Romo this time when he does get handed a 5-1, 6-1 team, whatever it is?
What did I tell you? Yes. What did I tell you about promises? Promises are like pie crust, thin and easily broken.